Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. When one writes a poem or when one writes a book of poems, it ultimately becomes a thing for others, not for oneself. It belongs to you in a sense, in a way that it can never belong to me. And I realized I have not read anything from my last book for a while, and it is simply a reflection of that. When I have written something, it goes out of my mind completely, and I never think about it again. However, here in Chicago, we continue to have our ICE situation, that is to say, these agents of the fascist regime are out doing their dastardly work daily. And you can see my whistle. I want to make sure I have it with me when I'm out. I do a certain amount of patrolling every week. We in the neighborhoods are trying to keep our schools safe, for one thing. A great effort was made hereabouts to keep Halloween safe for the young'uns, and they did admirably with that, I believe. But ICE is stepping up its tactics. Everybody here knows somebody who has been detained. Everybody knows anecdotally of somebody who has been taken away. And that's just how it goes in Chicago right now. But I think that there are unintended consequences to everything, and one of the unintended consequences to this has been that we, citizens of the city, and even non-citizens, if you will, are letting go of sort of our separateness, the sort of atomistic nature of city life, and we are coalescing into a community with common interests, common stakes in what is happening to us. So I'm going to read some poems from this book. And as I say, I haven't given much thought to it. This is a sonnet. Maybe I will just read sonnets if I can find some other sonnets from this book. Sonnet. Heavenly Father, I protest herewith what this sorry excuse for government, this foul regime, hath done in sending off visitors to our shores by unjust means, making them pawns in its vicious intent to implement a scheme good souls should scoff, condemning them to ugly, violent scenes in gulag prison of hate monolith. This I protest, dear Lord, not for some fear that such like persecution in succession may find me in due time, but rather for their own sakes. In my country's retrogression from decency, they in El Salvador, I pray that thou safeguard and keep them near. This book was written and compiled early on in the fascist coup, as is being attempted. So the last poem with a date is May 30th. So May 30th, so June, July, August, September, October. So 5 months have transpired. And so the concerns of this book really do reflect that period of time. The CCOT prison in El Salvador was much in the news, and so the poems reflect that. The administration continues to send people to various prisons or gulags, if you will, all over the world. But this book is showing its age already. Well, let me see if I can find another sonnet. That was a Macahan sonnet, by the way, if you've seen my videos about sonnets. This one is titled Without Accountability. I think I had some trouble with this one, but the girl was on her way to grammar school. Winnie the Pooh, the words upon her shirt. A cartoon character pictured. In concert, so swift she dropped her childish reticule, spilling her pencils and a measuring rule onto the walkway. Yelling, high alert, suddenly swooped 5 men, words clipped and curt, black-garbed faces concealed, mean, hardly cool. They trundled her into a waiting van. Amidst the screams of passers-by, no man showed his ID. We're federal agents, one spits rudely, then all vanished in an instant. El Salvador, where she was destined, distant, held carnal markets which sex commerce run. Of course, we know that the pedophile in chief, as he is known, Donald Trump, appears to be facilitating child trafficking. And that was a more of a Petrarchan type of sonnet. I had some issues with it. Oh, this one is titled Surviving Project 2025. They called it Project 2025, a plan to make it. Oh, it's not a sonnet. It's just a bunch of couplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, it's 14 lines comprising 7 couplets, so it's not really a sonnet, but it fooled me at first glance. Surviving Project 2025. They called it Project 2025, a plan to make it harder to survive, a plan to stamp out empathy, compassion, and what all else impedes the fascist fashion. Tiny Tim Cratchit, see him hobble by, kick out his crutches, laugh and watch him lie. Ha ha! The boy can't get to where he wants. Let's make him cry with jibes and teasing taunts. Look, there's blind Homer with his unseeing eyes. Let's make him feel he's someone to despise. Let's hide his walking stick and in his path place some obstruction so that we can laugh. Ha ha! We call it Project 2025. You'll be in luck if you get out alive. Of course, the latest Republican travesty has been withholding SNAP benefits, which in my day used to be called food stamps, from citizenry across the nation. The numbers of children dead already due to USAID cuts, among other efforts of this administration, are incalculable at this time. Posterity will report, I am sure. And these folks call themselves Christian, which is kind of weird that they love to see the poor people suffer, saying things like, because you are not rich, you do not deserve to have any pleasure or joy in your life. Calling themselves Christian, mind you. Well, let me try to find some. I know there are more 14-line poems in here that actually are sonnets, if I can just find them. That would be ideal. But as I say, I didn't come to this with any prep. Not finding them. Oh, here. Here's one. The Scholar Who Protested Genocide. A scholar who protested genocide, a Georgetown University professor, has been detained from legal process wide for having been atrocity addresser. Oh no, this isn't either. Goofed up. Well, I'm not going to go on with that one then. Sorry. Yeah, that's 4242. That's what I get for not looking carefully enough. Without Accountability, I just read. I know there are others in here. I'm trying to find sonnets for you. You may just have to get the book yourself. There will be a link in the description box. If I just added a couple of lines, I could have had a sonnet there. Huh. Well, we may be, you know, there is one sonnet I know based off of a Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem. Oh, I'm just not seeing anything. Well, you can, yeah. I'm finding the same ones that I already read. Well, this is turning out to be something of a fiasco, wouldn't you say? Well, maybe if I try to find something from the table of contents. I'm just having a hard go of it. Perhaps I should have. Well, maybe I should give up my effort of finding sonnets for you and just reading other things. Yeah, I just keep seeing the same ones over and over again. Yeah, unfortunately. Closing Spencerians, that would be fun to read. Is this? Nope. Nope. Well, I apologize. I really wanted to pick out the sonnets from this, and I just can't find them. Let me at least find one, and then I can let you go. I would not try to bully China, the MAGA murder of a priest. And the sonnet I just read. looking for faith, hope, charity in all the wrong places. I know there are more in here. Shady Peter Thiel. The two types of Christian, the fascist tampering with history. Well, I am sorry. No. Sonnet on Christian Nationalism. Did I read that one? Oh. No, I did not. So here's one. These theocratic Christian nationalists, or Christian hypocrites, so one might say, have wedded their ambitions to the fists of fascist domination all the way. That which was God's now rendered unto Caesar. Thus their indoctrination serves a cause, as God becomes a simpering, gray-haired geezer inclined to bend the knee at fascist laws. Alas, their lot does not become as children. Children they hurt explicitly with lies kaleidoscopic, colorful, bewildering, which merely set up dogma in disguise. In words of Yeats, O Lord, what would they say, did their Emmanuel ambulate that way? Excuse me. Well, maybe I can find some more then. A MAGA love sonnet. I think that's the one. That's the one derived from Barrett Browning. Oh yeah, okay. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my bigotry can reach, and feeling spite when sympathy is touted a disgrace. I love thee to the level of every day's cheeseburger scarfed, the TV close in sight, while thou playest golf all morning, noon, and night. Epithets hurled the liberals to dispraise. I love thee with the fascism put to use, if I can lick thy boot and put my faith in thee, the loser's self-esteem I lose in grandiosity. I love the breath which issues from your hole, which streams abuse, and shall but love thee better after death. And there's one that follows right after this from March 31st of this year, Happy Trans Day of Visibility. The world is wondrous large, and it contains a vast variety of different sorts, and every single one of them remains significant and right. How one comports, not subject to an artificial split of bifurcation into binaries. We are no monoculture. Human wit and self-identity need not appease the narrow confines of a petty mind. Variety is king luxuriant. No Bible can prescribe how I inclined even since birth, or tell me what I want. Preacher man, keep your hands away from me. Happy Trans Day of Visibility. That's probably the best I can do. I doubt I will find any more. So I will leave off there against fascism. Thank you.